stage is a pedestal.
And when you're up there, you're untouchable. And when you're up there, you can have it any way you want it. That's the way you need it. Any way you want it. Take Destiny. She loves to laugh. She loves to sing. She does everything. And Sapphire, she loves to move. She loves to groove. She loves the lovely things. All night, every night. So hold tight, oh baby, hold tight. When it comes to the customer, she said any way you want it, that's the way you need it. Any way you want it. She said any way you want it, that's the way you need it. Any way you want it. I was alone.
We're always looking to add a little atmosphere. I think the sound of weeping, and it wouldn't be me, would be fine. We are taping now, aren't we?
Yeah, we are.
See, that's the best part.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
boy.
And then people ask me about
It's gold.
the conversations leading up to. I was like, really? I didn't say that.
As long as it's not about movies, it's gold.
Yeah. Once we focus on films, the podcast falls apart pretty quickly.
The little bar that says number of listeners goes down.
Yeah.
Or however that's mentioned. Now we're talking about movies, and all of a sudden, let's just do it. Hey everybody, this is the Post Movie Podcast. I'm Steve Head,
I'm John Black.
and we're happy to have Greg Valente with us. Greg, how you doing?
I'm good.
Greg writes for the Eagle Tribune.
And don't you have your own website too?
I do. My reviews can be found on gregvalente.com.
How do you spell that?
THAT?
What?
Oh.
Christ.
Anyway.
Got to be quick on
That
Steve.
was...
you get what you pay for.
Well,
at
I
this
think what we're
podcast.
asking here is, Greg, how do you spell your last name?
It's VELLANTE.
.com.
I got
.com.
Your website's pretty funny. Yeah.
How so?
Because I don't read the Eagle Tribune, so I read your stuff, and it's like I'll talk to you about a movie and then read your review, or just your attitude is funny on the. You're just a funny writer. It's not funny. I'm laughing at you.
That's
It's funny, I'm
priceless.
laughing with
That's
you.
priceless when it comes to film criticism.
What?
Priceless.
Yes,
True.
it is. Being read is priceless.
I mean, you can do smart, like the guys who, like, I don't know,
Don't you mean
Jay Huberman or
people can do
Jonathan
smart? I
Rosenberg,
can't.
But funny is priceless.
I remember writing a review for a Sylvester Stallone movie, and decades ago, and I came up with the line that he had the body of an Adonis and the brain of an Adidas, and I laughed so fucking hard at my own joke. I just thought it was the best thing I'd ever written, and it made it through editing. It got published. Didn't hear a word about it. No one cared, and I was like, I don't care. I like that line.
Yeah, I think for myself, I realize I do that myself. Like I'll write something or I'll say something, and I laugh at myself a lot.
Yeah.
And I've come to realize I have to really cut down on that.
Laughing along with yourself.
It's really like, what the fuck?
I feel like we all do that, though.
Yeah. I was trying to, someone asked me what we did with the podcast, and I was trying to explain to her that there are times where, I have like a team of writers in my head, and they're kind of paying attention, but they're trying to write jokes to get out on the air. And sometimes I lose the thread of the conversation because I'm so busy
You're
trying
so
to
busy
think of
thinking
something.
about your...
I'm so busy about getting
Yeah.
the joke, and then I'll tell a joke, and it's got nothing to do with anything, and it bombs, and I'm just like, well, fire the writers. You know?
I'll dwell on that line for like 5 minutes, and then I'll be like, oh, I got to Facebook this. Oh, I got
Yeah.
to Twitter this. And then everything's... And then you're like, there's no energy there. It's done. It's dead. It's
Yeah.
whatever. Get rid of
Just
it.
the idea that I will spend so much energy trying to come up with a joke that makes me laugh, and I throw it out either on Facebook or on the podcast, and it just lies there like a beached whale.
I just wrote
It cracks
something.
me up even harder.
I just wrote something like a half hour ago that had me laughing, at the coffee shop.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, oh, I want to dig it up. I want to get this, this most perfect moment. I want to relive it. I can't.
No.
It's just not. So, anyway, I got to stop laughing at myself.
That's one of the things about I realized about work is no one thinks I'm funny, which is an uncomfortable place for me to be.
I think you're funny, John.
I know. All right. Thank you.
Shall I feel like I want to do a quick message to Sean right now.
Go ahead.
Because as I just told John before we started recording, I kind of screwed up last week's recording of the home video version of the episode. So,
Uh-huh.
so not all of it's there. I mean, it's recorded, but it sounds like shit. So now I'm like, I can't publish that.
Publish it
I
as a
can't
bootleg.
publish, and then I feel bad because like we came up with some great shit talking about Delta Force. I was
So we don't have.
I can publish it. It would just be irritating to people's ears, I think.
That's fine. I usually am. But so my whole pubic topiary joke is lost now?
Oh, that sounds
Exactly.
Like a
Oh my
And
God.
no, it's not lost. It's there. It's just it doesn't have the
Oh my
full
God.
ambiance of your delivery, the depth of your golden tones.
Steve, it's
you
pubic
know?
topiary. I don't care what it sounds like. It was hilarious.
Do you want to relive it, or is it just too
Just
painful?
that one. Just that one. I don't care about the rest of the podcast, but I really worked hard on that. And the great thing about having Sean here as a guest is he's such a good laugh.
This is a
yeah, he
film. This is a film where people are identified by the
Pubic
by the
topiary.
foliage of
About women. Well, they're identified by me that way. I don't know if the rest of the world looks at it and goes,
Did you-
Hey, there's that girl with the racing stripe again. What's she got to say?
So, and you didn't. We were talking about the Lola Versus situation last
Yeah,
week about
yeah.
how apparently male film critics are
older male
older
film
male
critics.
critics.
Right, right. Did you segue from there to pubic topiary?
No, Pubic Topiary
That
was
was in
about
the-
the movie, a DVD I reviewed called Desire, which I really liked a lot.
Yeah.
Sean has it now. It'll pass around.
That's why when you
right there.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the whole thing is that there's an opening shower scene in the movie, and it's ladies in a shower talking about men and relationships and life and stuff. But the camera is focused between their belly buttons and the top of their thighs, so all you see is ass and bush. And it goes on for like 5 minutes in this conversation, and it happens. They have this scene throughout the movie. They I guess this is what the ladies do. But you see it so often that you can start identifying a voice with a particular brand of topiary. So you know that the woman with the full bush is going to talk about her boyfriend, and the woman with the little Hitler mustache is going to talk about that. And so you get used to seeing it. At least I did.
Oh, wow.
Thanks, John.
But the thing is, and at the end of the whole, it's kind of, I think it's one of the great tricks of the director is after this long opening scene where all you do is see ass and bush, that you realize one of the women is talking about getting a tattoo, and another woman says, "What would you get?" And she turns full frontal to the camera and just goes, "You're welcome." And
How
I'm
do
like,
you do a casting
yes, that's
situation?
the best movie ever.
How do you cast this thing?
I imagine by, again, pubic topiary.
The other one I think that I'm
Think about the hairdresser for that movie. Hair and makeup must have been just either wonderful or
Specialty.
a nightmare. It's
Specialty.
yeah. Those
Right.
little clippers. Anyway.
we also lost the FP discussion. I love that movie.
Did you get an offer to talk to the director?
I don't recall.
Yeah, I still haven't seen it. We can bring that back up. It doesn't come out for a little while.
Yeah. The
But-
FP is mad whack.
But this episode has no technical difficulties.
Do you want to tell people what we're talking about this episode? You never do that. Do it. Do it. Do it.
On this episode of the Post Movie Podcast, we'll be talking about Rock of Ages, starring Tom Cruise.
That's right.
We'll be talking about
Some weird.
That's
version
My
of Tom
Boy, starring Adam Sandler and Andy Samberg.
Yes.
Cruise. Yeah.
And we're going to talk about Brave, the new Pixar film. So which one do you want to start
Well,
with?
actually, what I'm a little concerned about isn't there a embargo on Brave?
Fuck it.
I'll cut this out.
No, well, I'm sure there is, but it opens next Friday.
Right.
So you can either, I don't know. Well, we won't get a chance to talk about it otherwise.
Philosophically drained about that movie. It's like all right, whatever.
Philosophically drained because it was a princess story, and you love princess stories.
I don't mind a princess story. I
Yeah.
don't mind, warrior story, whatever. It's princess warrior.
The thing is, it's neither one of those.
The idea of it, but then it's not. And there's something, I don't know, whatever. Do we want to talk about this first? We want to do Rock of Ages?
I want to tap into Greg's anger about That's My Boy. I think that's the way to start this show.
Well, I'm with Greg on that one, no doubt.
And
That's
I'm
a-
not,
that
so that's
movie
why
is
we're going to
just
tap his anger. Greg, why don't you
absolute-
tell us what the movie's about?
Oh man, I don't know where to begin.
Just
Let's see.
start. The
So-
anger and words will flow, I'm
yeah.
sure.
So 13-year-old Adam Sandler fucks his middle school teacher, who comes on to him Because she's hot, everyone thinks it's awesome. Pretty much, she gets sentenced to like 60 years in prison.
And he's
And
lauded
the
for
results-
living the dream. He's living the dream.
his friends are high fiving him, and they're like, "Yeah, good job," and it's like, and then she gets pregnant from it. So he has a kid, 13, and flash forwards, he gets like momentary fame from it, and wastes away all his money. He needs 43 grand, so he tries to reunite with his son, played by Andy Samberg, and it's just the worst. It's the worst.
His son, whose name is...
His birth name was Han Solo, but he changes it to
Because you just
Ted.
can't get cooler than that.
Todd.
I think that's the only thing I laughed at.
It's a cool name.
Oh, the other thing I laughed at was when in conversation with Vanilla Ice, Adam Sandler had to just
Oh yeah,
refocus,
Vanilla Ice is in
stop,
this movie.
collaborate, and listen.
Yeah.
Just
Look,
okay,
I
that made me
honestly
laugh,
think,
but the
like,
rest of the movie
does Adam Sandler get like
shit.
charitable tax write-offs for these movies? Like
mean if
he just employs people who won't get jobs elsewhere. Todd Bridges, Vanilla Ice, like you're not going to see them anywhere else. He paid their rent for like 6 months.
They're all stars of that show I watched, The World's Worst Criminals.
This is a shitty movie on every level.
Every level.
Shittiest.
See, I liked it. I had fun. I laughed. I like Sandler's world. It's pretty much the same world for all his movies.
No.
The 80s soundtrack, his buddies in
Yeah,
the
well,
roles.
been there, done that.
Yeah, it's the
You know,
same thing.
It was just
No.
bringing Vanilla Ice
Except
this
back
was
was
funny.
like bringing Billy Idol back in The Wedding Planner.
Yeah.
But the Wedding Singer is one of his
Wedding Singer,
best,
Wedding Planner.
better movies,
Oops.
especially.
He played the J-Lo part in The Wedding Planner. You didn't laugh at all. You didn't think anything was funny.
Well, I
laughed
just
maybe
told you
about
when I
like
laughed.
3 times, just
Yeah.
little bit things, and they were like snickers, like, oh, that's kind of funny. But like, the movie just like disgusted me and just repelled me.
See, now I've heard 3 or 4 critics say that it's. I said, what do you think? Oh, it's about incest and it's about pedophilia.
And it's completely misogynistic. It's Adam Sandler is the douchebaggiest of douchebag characters, and apparently every woman wants to fuck him.
Right.
It makes no sense. And there's
Well-
even like a line where a woman just completely lashes him out for everything that's despicable about him, and then goes, "But I want to fuck you so hard," and it's like, what? No, that doesn't make any sense, and it's just like
It doesn't have to make sense.
the idea that like this is like some sort of lower middle class dream. It's just fucked up.
All
it's
his
just
movies
fucked
are.
up.
All
You
his
know?
movies are boy fantasies.
But you know, I think the part that bothers me isn't okay. This is a shitty film. It's a poorly made film. This movie is cast on whether or not somebody looks like they can deliver a line, and then they put the people in front of the camera and point the camera, and they make their silly fucking face.
Right.
Their silly, stupid reaction. They say the line like they're reading the script. It's just clunkily constructed. The part that bothers me is the fact that this movie was enjoyed by the audience.
that made me
is
so
sad.
because I have a
No.
pet peeve in general of people clapping at the end of the movie. Like I used to just stand up and go, "They can't hear you. There's nobody there." Like I can understand like you're seeing like a classic movie, and it's like a rare occasion.
Right.
You want to show, everyone's going there because they've probably either seen it and but stuff like that, especially people clapping at the end of that movie, it's just like it's so cruel spirited. I just don't get it. It just makes me like I don't want to be around these people.
I thought this after the movie. I don't think I've ever thought this about another movie except maybe what was the one he did where he played his sister.
Jack and Jill.
Jill.
That if you
Worst
think
movie
this
last
movie
year.
is for you, that if you enjoy this movie, then you're a fucking moron.
No, that's wrong, Steve. You can't judge someone by the movie.
That's
made
what
me,
I thought. That
But
how,
if-
I couldn't.
It makes me laugh. Doesn't make me a
No,
fucking moron.
I know that.
And how much
It's
do you
just
think, how much baggage do you guys
why
bring into a
would
movie
somebody
like this
hold
before
this
it even
movie as
starts?
something special?
No,
It's nothing
As I was
special.
like, I
No.
so identify with what's up on screen. This is a dream for me.
No, I don't think this
What the
movie's
fuck?
special. I just thought it was funny. I don't think it's
But
hateful.
the thing is, I
don't
didn't think it was funny either. I think the jokes. I think they relied. It's Adam Sandler hasn't done an R-rated comedy. He's always
Right.
in the PG-13, except for Jack and Jill, which was PG for some reason. Although
Right,
it was
right.
pretty much a PG-13 comedy. But in this, he's trying to fit in with The Hangover and The Bridesmaids and all those raunchy comedies that come. But those comedies actually have like real jokes associated when they say fuck. Adam Sandler like just says it and like throws a cum joke in there and thinks it's funny, and it's like no, it's just that's a bodily function. That's
The
that's
way
a
he
swear
that
word.
just God, there's so much about this movie that was just disgusting. Stupid.
For instance? No, I'm asking
Oh,
for
the
an
fact
example.
that the fact
Mr.
that she's
Need
got a
to
little something on her dress,
put
and in
her
order to
mouth
find
to
out
the
what that
dress,
is,
yeah.
she has to put her tongue to it.
You
and
bet.
then goes,
Fucking
that's
It's
comedy.
idiocy.
Yeah,
That's
it's
it.
like
I didn't laugh at that, but I'm not.
But that's
I'm not
disgusting.
morally offended by
That's
it.
disgusting. The fact that he's
Steve, how much comedy
whacking
today
it to a 80-year-old woman.
Well, that was kind of funny.
Yeah, it was disgusting. It just like
That's a judgment call. I didn't think it was disgusting.
it is disgusting, John.
No.
That the
it's
the
crude.
tissues are sticking to everything.
Yeah, that's kind of funny. It's a joke that he took.
for me, this is a movie I'd
far.
probably find hilarious if I was like 12 and wasn't allowed to watch it and had to like borrow a DVD from someone and sneak it. Like,
I'm just bothered by the fact that Adam Sandler gets pummeled by the critics, but he gets lauded by the audience. Like he is just like he's doing this just disgusting, unfunny
Why should
stuff.
that bother you? If
Because
he's got
it's
an
like it
he's
bothers
got an
me on a
audience-
human level.
No, oh come on.
It does.
Stop
It
the
does. I'm
drama.
like, what
It's
is
just-
this fucking audience is loving this movie? I mean, it's just, it's sad.
it makes
it's
me
sad.
depressed when movies like that and like especially like that and the big budget like stupid stuff like Battleship and stuff like that, like people like I don't know. It's like
Well, I don't know. I mean, yeah, paradox, irony. I liked Battleship.
Well, but you know, critics hated it.
Yeah.
You know, and so, but that doesn't make you a moron for liking it. You know, it's not a great movie.
like I can probably say that I really probably won't get along with someone who can say, "Oh, I love That's My Boy." Like someone who like really like thought it was like the funniest movie. Like that person probably has qualities that I don't.
What if
Right,
you were like
but-
matching up likes to
But, like-
to go out with someone and let's
But,
say
like,
the girl like
Match
loves
respect
Adam
the people's
Sandler. Can you put up
opinions,
with
you
that in
know,
your life?
about him.
Can you put up with that?
I
don't know
wouldn't
if I can
judge a
do that.
person on that. I think that's fucking stupid.
Obviously,
to judge a
there's
person.
more
You
to
like
it.
Adam Sandler?
I mean, if this were a Jerry
to the
Seinfeld
leopard.
world where you do judge people on these little stupid things, could you put up with somebody who
I
loves
don't live
Alan,
in a
Adam?
Jerry Seinfeld world.
I'm just
Jerry
saying.
Seinfeld
I'm just
world.
saying. Obviously,
There are people who judge
there's
Jerry Lewis.
people are well-rounded individuals. They're not like
There are people who judge Jerry Lewis as being.
I meant to say Jerry Seinfeld.
Oh, you
I
did.
say Jerry
No,
Lewis? Okay.
I'm switching the conversation. There are people who think Jerry Lewis is a no talent, child, hack, ego, whatever. They hate his movies. They're all just they have a lot of negative to say about Jerry Lewis. I like Jerry Lewis.
Do you think Adam? Have we?
I
Had
will
this
say this:
conversation
I
before?
don't have a problem with Adam Sandler. I have a problem with the Happy Madison Productions in the studio because when he does that, it's pretty much just he's like, he's half the movies he's in with the Happy Madison Productions. He's wearing like sweatpants and like a Yukon shirt,
Right,
And
right.
I'm pretty sure like the beers and That's My Boy were real. Like it's just that lazy, and it's just like them getting together and dicking around and
Right.
making a bad movie in my opinion.
That people
but I think
seem
he
to
has
like.
potential. And
Right.
he works with a great director like Paul Thomas Anderson, Punch Drunk Love. Sandler's phenomenal in that. I think he was phenomenal in Funny People and
Right.
that Reign Over Me with Don Cheadle, which I think he has potential, but he only comes out like every 6
I
years.
just think it's sad that he gets people like Al Pacino and Susan Sarandon and James Caan
in
to
this
be in
one.
these
It's
movies.
like he's trying to ruin the
and it
concept.
sort of taints my
Okay.
impression of those people.
I don't understand that.
Like,
but
what
let's,
the fuck? Why would Al Pacino do that?
It's
just
probably it pays well.
Obviously,
it's
money
funny.
pays well.
Maybe
no,
you
it's
just
not
think
funny.
maybe
Not
he
funny.
thinks it's funny and it's something fun to do, something different. He doesn't always want to be Michael Corleone and an old man. He wants to do.
I
He wants
think
to try
it's-
something funny. Maybe
It's just
that's wouldn't an
it's
actor
a different
want to do that?
audience. It's a different audience. And
But,
I'm not,
all right, so
no.
if Happy Madison Productions and Adam Sandler, those movies, they have the same cast, the same outfits, even the same plot, the same crude level of humor. All of that is pretty much, like the Sandler world, right? Mm-hmm. Does that make him an auteur?
No, because he's
Wait.
not making them. He's
This
just
is the
throwing
same.
his money
You're,
into them.
you're proposing the same argument that when Jerry Lewis was,
No,
or
I'm
by
not-
some
I'm not-
considered an auteur.
No, I'm not
Is Adam Sandler an auteur?
Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
No, he doesn't make these films. He just throws his money in, and he has his friends
As an-
like Dennis Dugan and Tom Brady.
I don't
and all
think
those
that the
think he's the
films are
controlling-
actually
you
as,
don't think he's
as
the controlling
technically
force
proficient
behind
as,
these
as films that we
films?
consider
No, he's the
auteurs.
reason they make money.
But you don't think he's the controlling force behind them? I would imagine he is.
I mean,
I imagine
No,
he
I-
is Happy
the-
Madison Productions.
Well, his
I'm
kind
sure
of
he's, like,
auteurship
involved
is
in
like
some
an
of the
auteurship
script,
that
but
doesn't give a
he's not
shit.
an
Sorry for
auteur.
talking over you.
no, he's not an auteur.
that's
what I'm saying.
rating the quality of auteurship. I'm trying to figure out is he that level of artist,
No.
and why not?
At least auteur for me is like, someone who like writes their own film, directs their own film, has a signature style, something like that. It's like, no, Adam Sandler's he makes just immature.
He has a
Comedy.
signature style, though.
It's not. Yeah, but it's not him, solely him. It's an entire studio with a bunch
All
of people.
movies are an entire studio. They're all collaborative. No one person makes a movie.
Yeah. But it's not like Adam Sandler like sits down at his desk and just like writes out "That's My Boy" and brings
No,
it to the
but
studio. And,
I'm sure that a film like That's My Boy, Jack Hill, or anything starts with Happy Madison production, which is Sandler saying, "Hey, this would be funny."
John, I'm just sitting here pissed.
that's what all the movies
Adam
are. Though.
Sandler.
It's an,
Right.
It's an
Fucking-
idea that they think will be funny.
Right.
And then they build. This one's an hour and 50 minutes.
John, he's not an auteur.
Yeah.
There's nothing. I mean, if he's an auteur of the lowest possible sense. His decisions are like
That's a judgment call.
uncaring, seemingly uncaring, and hack-like.
No.
I mean, you can stand
That's your-
stand kids in front of a camera and have them recite funny lines and make a stupid fucking face,
Right.
and that's nothing.
I'm just asking, according to this whole auteur theory, here's a man who has a signature style. His production company makes these movies that share a lot of the same qualities.
Part of the
that are
auteur
extremely
theory is
popular.
technical competence, and that's not there. Unless maybe he is technically competent, but he doesn't care. I get the impression from watching his films that he doesn't give a shit. I mean, I think he's making very smart business decisions. He's making a
Right.
ton of money. I mean, you can put this dog and pony show up on screen, and people will pay to see it. It doesn't make you an auteur.
I'm just asking.
I mean,
I'm
this
just asking
is some
because
clunky editing.
But I would have to see Adam
Composition.
Sandler actually direct a film to know that.
Has he ever done that? I don't know.
no.
He has his friends like Dennis Dugan and Tom Brady and who's this one?
No, some guy.
I think it's
This is the first time director.
No, it's a DV. It's someone who did something else. But I forget who it was.
They're smart enough to know. He's smart enough to know that this is shit.
Oh,
and he's,
he
and he's
knows.
delivering people shit.
These are blatant
No.
middle fingers to the audience. That's what I think.
I really.
yeah.
You think he just makes pieces of shit to throw in people's faces?
He knows he's making
Yeah.
pieces
How
of
do
shit.
you know that? How do you know that, Steve?
It's my opinion.
But you're
That's what
stating it like fact.
No,
no,
this
it's
is-
not.
Adam
fact.
Sandler is smart enough to know that he makes shitty films.
This is why I think funny people is the reason why you can back that theory up. I honestly think Adam Sandler takes that role and plays that role so well because
Right.
George Simmons is Adam Sandler. All those little roles in the funny people, those little fake trailers, Merman and Look Who's Talking. They have the him on the baby head.
Right.
Those are very very similar to the types of comedies that Adam Sandler does and those shtick.
That
and all
doesn't make
stuff.
it truth.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure that was self-parody. That's what I feel funny people. I think it's self-parody, and I think he's really taking advantage of that.
Good point,
And
Craig.
I think I think he knows their shit. I really do. And I think he just makes them because he knows they're going to make money. It's a paycheck.
No, I
They
can't
do,
believe-
He's
John.
good at
They
his
do.
job.
The
He's great
Happy
at it. I
Madison.
can't
These
believe that-
guys, they know the type of movie they're making. They know the type of movie that the Broken Lizard guys are making. They know that there's a certain audience for an R-rated film, and they know that there's a certain audience for this
Tyler Perry
type of
movies,
film.
like-
Right.
But what I can
not
tell
for
you
me.
is that I have had experience working on one of his films, and I've also talked with the Broken Lizard guys about how they've gone to the Adam Sandler office, the Happy Madison offices, and discussed what it takes for them to do the kind of movie they need to do. But I've also seen Adam Sandler's production people setting up shots and just throwing it together. It just, not that it's supposed to be slick, it's a machine.
No shit.
That's what Adam Sandler thinks.
But the thing is-
he's
but-
smart enough to know that they're making just
Wait, he's smart enough
junky
to know
stuff.
he's got an audience and he delivers a product.
No, that's
that
smart. That's
audience
smart.
wants.
Yes.
That doesn't mean he thinks that the product he's delivering is shit and the people are stupid.
Oh, come on.
It does not mean that, Stephen.
I would like to ask
Steven,
Adam
that means
Sandler.
I'm
I would like to ask Adam Sandler. Really, truly, don't you know that this is kind of crap? He would say, "Yeah, but people love it."
That's your opinion that it's crap, Steve. I cannot.
That would be a real Adam Sandler response.
I cannot believe anyone says, this is my audience, and I can sucker them every time with a piece of shit and fuck everyone else and fuck them. Here's your crappy movie.
I don't think
Pay
he's
for it."
suckering his
He's
audience.
great at his
I think
job.
he's,
knows how to make a product.
He makes
that
a
will make
product
money.
and delivers it to his fan base.
Which I think
actor
is
doesn't do
it's
that?
just sad to me that people enjoy that kind of crap.
Chuck Norris made movies and delivered them to his audience. He did. Jackie
such
Chan
a-
makes
it's
movies,
just such a
delivers them to his
bad-
audience.
But I can enjoy
George
Delta Force. I
Lucas
can
makes
Right.
movies
Well,
and
okay,
delivers them
okay.
to
No,
his
Phantom
audience.
Menace, piece of crap. But okay, I can enjoy Delta Force and be entertained knowing that it's bad. Okay, this Adam Sandler stuff. It bugs me on a different level.
Right.
In other
On a
words,
personal
not
level,
only
for
not
some
only is
reason.
it bad, it's like that
it
people
offends
really
me that
enjoy the
that
fact
certain people
that they
find this funny.
It's like what it's like. I think that some people watch it and they don't know it's bad. I and they're
so-
being delivered shit. So maybe
I mean,
Adam
good-
Sandler.
good
I take
bad's a
back what I
matter of
said earlier.
opinion. I mean,
Maybe
I get what you're trying to say, but for me, it's like what offended me is the people laughing and the people applauding. Like, for me at least, this movie is
bothered the
very
shit out of me.
offensive and cruel spirited, and misogynistic and racist at times, and ignorant and everything. And I don't find those qualities in a movie funny.
Right.
And
That's fine. I understand that.
That's what I'm saying about it.
Right. I
And that's
understand
why
that
it pissed
completely.
me off so much, because I just found this movie insulting.
I'm
I
la-
felt like it punched me in the face.
Oh, I'm totally insulted by it, but I'm laughing because so when John turns to his left, his face goes calm, and, he's looking at Greg like, okay, I'm going to listen to what he has, and then he turns to me and it's like,
That's right. That's why we brought a guest in today. You diffused the bomb.
oh, fucking.
That's why we're
Adam
not on
Sandler,
camera.
man. What pieces of shit that guy delivers. But you know what? If I had the ability to do what he does, I would still do it.
Duh. Who
I
wouldn't?
That kind of money? Damn, man.
You know?
He has the money to make these movies, to employ his friends,
Right.
to give Rob Schneider a steady paycheck every
Who's
once in
not
a
in
while.
this movie?
Not in this one. But Nick
Jack and Jill,
Schwartzman.
he wasn't in Jack and Jill either, but they name dropped him, and I'm sure he got a paycheck for that.
Nick Schwartzman in this was the worst.
No, Nick Schwartz.
It was the worst. Was the worst Bill Murray and Caddyshack
blatantly mentally
impression.
handicapped character, and Nick Schwartzen's just kind of provoking that. It's just like, no, that's not funny.
They're just on screen inflecting these voices. You know, it's just Adam Sandler with his stupid voice.
Peter Dante, who plays
And that's
the
funny?
stoner at the end of the movie, he does that same shtick
Right.
every single time. Like, he's just playing Peter Dante, and it's like,
Yeah.
The strip club
his
scenes
friends, yeah.
What about him?
with the big black
fat
lady
chick?
pole dancer. Yeah,
It's a chick from Borat, right?
disgusting.
I don't know.
I think it's the hooker that he brings from Borat, like Laverne or whatever her name is.
I see now.
pretty
That's
sure.
a movie I found totally stupid and offensive. But that's another story.
All right, John.
All right, so a fat chick in a strip
okay,
club.
all right. So we've tried to explain this, but you liked the film.
Well, the thing is you're not trying to explain it. You're trying to convince me, and that's not going to work. We just differ here. I laughed. All I wanted was a laugh.
It all depends on your sense of humor.
It's not only it's part of its sense of humor, but it's also that that night it hit me. I giggled. I laughed.
Oh, I just thought of another thing in this film that I laughed at. Okay, when they needed tunes in order to get where they were going
Right.
to a certain wedding, and once they didn't have the car, they still needed to have their running tunes.
Yeah.
So they had to share the earphones on the iPod with the fucking.
Fuck! I hate that I laughed at that. Fuck! So pissed I laughed at that.
And the guy who wrote this also, the director, I forget his name.
I wanted
Anders?
to laugh at this
Anders?
movie. I wish I had laughed
He
more.
he did Hot Tub Time. He wrote Hot Tub Time Machine. So
That
plus for him.
I did not find funny. But comedy in itself is just so subjective.
Exactly.
And
For me, that's not comedy at all. But
No,
for
but
some people it is. The people
we've
who
all
clap.
sat in screenings when either one critic or another who we can identify in the dark by their laugh. You know who I'm talking about? Yeah, and they'll laugh inappropriately or out of character or whatever. It's just like, really? You're laughing at that? It's a subjective thing.
Yep.
So
Yep. What a piece of shit movie this is.
you're not going to let it go, are you?
No.
No, that's
Fine.
one of my worst of the year.
It's only
right.
June.
What?
It's only June.
It's right there at the bottom, next to This Means War.
Could there be
yeah.
I bet there probably could be a worse movie this year, but it's insulting. It's poorly made.
Can we just
I
let it
just
go?
felt like I was just getting pissed on.
Yeah.
Like, I just felt like that movie just pissed on my face for an hour and 50 minutes. I didn't like it.
I think now is a good time to put in how people can contact us with their response.
Contact at post-movie.net.
If you felt like you were being peed on in this movie, press 1.
Oh my God. I feel like my body temperature. I feel
You're-
hot.
you're
I feel
red.
like I'm
That's why I
a
took my
little
sweatshirt off.
sweating here.
I'm not wearing
feel a little-
pants.
Movie.
Like the temperature in the room just got.
Oh, please. No one's listening. Can we move on to our second film of the day?
Adam Sandler. Shall we do Rock of Ages?
Sure. But first, again, let's turn to our guest, Greg, for his experience
Yeah.
trying to see
You guys,
Rock of Ages.
you guys can hash through Rock of Ages because I didn't get a chance.
Oh,
to
this is
see it.
you did go to the theater
I
to
did.
actually see the film.
I went
and-
to an extra screening that was being held, a promo screening, because I had to miss the. I didn't have to miss the regularly scheduled one, but I went to go see Boogie Nights at the Coolidge, which was a much better choice. But I went to the second screening that was offered. 15 minutes went by. They passed the start time. They showed, like the Regal Fenway, promo and stuff, and then the lights came back on. And then 15 minutes later, they said they had no idea what was wrong with the digital file. So, yeah, I just left, and I didn't see Rock of Ages, and I'm not reviewing it. So yeah, Regal Fenway. I got a very loathe-hate relationship with them.
I don't think people realize that now movies are like downloaded on.
They're hard drives. They're
Yeah.
little.
They have,
it's like-
and you have to have a
downloaded to the
key.
theater.
yeah, and you're like, I don't know. The key gen worked earlier today, and they had no one on duty who knew like how to fix it. And I'm like, this is just if
And-
you had a film projector and you could just just
And they're all timed, so if you don't start at a certain time, it won't go off.
Really?
Yeah, because I went to see
have a
the.
window
or
of
if you have
opportunity.
certain things set on a timer,
Yeah,
the titles will come on at the 2-hour mark of Tree of Life.
right. So it's all
Adventures in
computerized. But yeah,
digital.
there are these keys work very specifically. So it's a 7. The movie will go on at 7 and end at 8:45, which means you can't start it up at 7:15.
They start it late. The lights will come on at the time they're supposed
Right,
to.
you have
It's
to
like-
call LA and get the key recoded to start it late.
Yep.
Because I remember seeing when they brought Grease back. They were having this big celebration of Grease, and I went to the screening, and it was upside down and backwards. And they stopped it, tried again, upside down and backwards. I was like, just turn the machine over, project it against the mirror. They couldn't do anything. That's when I found out that all these things are coded specifically for each screening, let alone for every theater. So,
That's true.
but again, there's no one up there to fix it.
No, it's like they hire just high school kids and college kids to be able to press
We
the
as
button.
film
How
critics
projector?
ought to have the technical expertise to handle this.
So how much fun
For
is
someone
this
who's learned
situation?
projection personally and stuff, it's just insulting.
So how much fun is it to be at the Brattle when you hit a ding, ding, ding?
It's like I compare it to like the Polar Express, like the little Christmas bells
Yeah.
that the kids can hear when they still believe in Santa. It's like as long as I hear that bell at the Brattle, I know
Yeah,
I'm holding on to little hope that film.
the film's
but-
going to change.
Yeah,
and it's,
but it's the.
I remember when I first discovered what those cigarette burns were. Those little
Yeah,
dots
yeah.
up in the corner. I was just like, oh, changing the reels. That's so fucking cool.
best. It's like I saw.
It just, to me, it represents like this momentary 1 or 2 minute difference in film quality.
Yeah,
You're always going to get the top of the roll after the new reel comes up, and it's going to be like, this is the fucked up part of the film.
Yeah, be a little. The colors fade and it's get a little scratchy. Boom. Oh, that's what it looks like.
It's so cool.
And that's all part. See, that doesn't bother
That's part
me.
of the experience.
Right.
That's once digital takes over, there's not going to be anything separating watching a movie at an HD TV at your house and
Right.
going to a theater and watching it digitally.
I'd rather
It's
stay
like
home.
there's
Save the cigarette
nothing
burns.
beats
They've
that
died.
film, that crisp, that texture, that experience and digital. There's so many problems with it.
That's
being
why they used to have-
what happens at all these screenings.
That's why they used to have great revival houses, like when the Harvard Square was a revival house, and the Brattle. You would go see movies.
Brattle and the Coolidge.
You know?
If they didn't exist, I'd be going nuts right now.
So
Or we should also mention the Orson Welles.
I never
That was
went
like
there.
the king of the repertory revival.
Yeah, growing up in Rhode Island, it was the Avon Cinema, that same thing. Where you could see Casablanca and the Maltese Falcon as a double bill. How fucking cool
That's
is
amazing.
Yeah.
that?
That's-
Frankenstein and Dracula, double bill.
I just saw the Jack Clayton's The Innocents last night at Harvard, and it was watching a film at the Harvard Film Archive is almost like a pure cinema experience because you have no obstructions. You just like the other people sitting in the audience all totally care about what's up on screen,
Yeah.
and if you have a cell phone, you're ostracized. It's almost like it's not a perfect viewing environment, but
No, it's uncomfortable. It's kind of cold.
Well,
I'd
they
rather
got-
go to an old
They have
movie
cushy
house.
seats.
But yeah, it's just, and there'll be a generation after you, Greg, that won't know what we're talking about.
And they
It'll-
will
it'll be like
be
this ancient
completely
little-
inconsiderate.
Did you see Citizen
Not just
Kane? I got it on my
25%
phone.
inconsiderate.
Yeah.
And I'm watching the Thin Red Line on my iPod. That's the generation. They'll have everything on their phone or on their iPod. But I found out I could get Netflix on my phone. I was like, Birth of a Nation. Pretty cool on my phone.
You know what I
Like
watched
you
last
said,
night?
Portable racism.
I was just I watched Detour. Have you ever seen Detour from 1945? 1947, the Edgar Ulmer film.
Kind of familiar.
Watched that on the computer screen. All 67 minutes of it.
Yeah, I don't. It's like when you get those 50 movie box sets from Mill Creek, and you're like, well, even the transfer is shitty, but it's.
But wouldn't you rather see it up on the big screen?
Oh yeah, most movies.
You know,
If you
belong
have
there.
that option, take it. And
Yeah.
but you won't always have that option.
It's
some
impressionable.
movies you'll
in
never
a-
be able to see on the big screen.
It's just completely impressionable in a way that you're never going to get on your fucking iPhone.
Did you get
Yeah,
the
it's
announcement
old
from
argument.
Warner Brothers that The Dark Knight Rises has been digitized?
Oh yeah, we're
when
seeing
did they
the
send that out?
We're seeing the real IMAX.
we're
though,
seeing
right?
the
Digital?
Boston Common
I thought we were.
IMAX.
But Nolan films on film.
Julie told
Except
me.
for
Nope.
what? I mean, isn't
They
he does
finally
his film?
like it was Nolan was demanding that
We
that
see it at
press
the
see
aquarium.
at the 70 millimeter prints on the IMAX.
They
And
shot
if you
this
can't
on
do
film.
that 35 millimeter, and then if if you can't do that, then they finally they gave
Digitized
in
on
and
the
they were
fake.
like you can do the fake IMAX, and so that's what we're seeing it.
Awesome.
Yeah, because
Because he's Chris Nolan, but they're Warner
he
Brothers.
can.
He's an employee.
studios.
Bottom line, he's the employee.
Yeah, true.
So,
True.
But anyway, Rock of Ages. Now,
Yes.
let's listen.
Stacey Jackson,
what he
Tom Cruise. I'm gonna have to get a clip from that to put at the beginning of the show.
Some music.
Maybe some Journey. Maybe some Night Ranger. I don't know.
Because we really need
It's the
more
soundtrack
Journey
of my
karaoke.
life.
Sister Christian on the bus, man. Oh God.
But
Speaking of which, I was seeing Boogie Nights that night, and Sister Christian's in that movie. It was like, yes.
My favorite use of Sister Christian is in Superstar.
the,
Remember when the guy shows up on the bike at the end to pick up
Yeah.
chick, picks up Molly Shannon from the dance. Motorhead.
Wow. Do the whole song. Do it all.
After you guys leave.
I saw Rock of Ages when it was touring. The touring company came to Boston and with Constantine from American Idol. And I left it intermission because these songs would drive me fucking nuts. I wouldn't listen to this music by the original artist, and having it done by a shitty artist on stage. But the thing with the movie is, I thought it was an absolute train wreck, but I couldn't take my eyes off it.
Yeah, it is. It is quite a visual.
Just there were parts
Piece.
of it I thought were great.
amazing.
I thought Tom Cruise was great.
I mean, visually amazing.
Yeah.
Not a great film, but it just dazzling.
I think
to
the
watch.
two leads were awful. They got a Barbie doll and a Ken doll to pretend they're rockers.
It's the girl from Footloose, right?
Right. And she's cute, but she's vacant.
Julianne Hough.
There's nothing there. And who's the guy? Pedro something or other?
Diego Banez.
Yeah. He's the same. He's the Ken doll. He looks ridiculous as a rocker, but when they turn him into a boy band guy, you're like, oh, that makes sense. Even though he's fighting it because he's a rocker. This isn't a musical. This is what they call a jukebox show.
Well, I kind of wondered that. I mean, it is a musical in the sense that it has musical performances, but it's not like
No.
in the classic sense a
right,
musical because
there's
you
a
see
clear distinction where if they take hits like Smokey Joe's Cafe, Mamma Mia, they take established hits and then weave a story around them to make it a quote unquote musical.
Yeah, like
And I
you
don't
and me
think-
saw American Idiot,
Right.
Like that's what that is. Like I enjoyed it, but like,
that worked.
Yeah, but
Same thing. Yeah, they had
yeah, they take the
established
songs and
songs.
they base. the
But did
story
you ever
around it.
think that they were actually singing this on the set? I mean,
No,
like
no, it
in a
looks horribly
musical,
lip-synced.
like when you have like I don't know, Julie Andrews or Barbara Streisand walking down the street, singing. You feel, even though you know that they've recorded later, you feel like that the voice is coming from that
They're
person
selling the-
on the set.
It's a
but here
performance
it's
when they sing.
it's like an exceptionally elaborate karaoke performance, and
Yeah,
Tom Cruise brings so much physicality to Stacey Jacks that it just. I think I just got the impression that he was more concerned about how it looked as to whether or not he was actually singing.
Right.
It just didn't seem connected.
Every musical number in this is shot like a video. It's cut like a video.
Maybe it's a
filmed like
homage to
video.
80s music videos.
Maybe, but why do that? And then they have someone like Catherine Zeta-Jones, and she's terrible in this movie.
Choreography.
The choreography, it looks like she's supposed to be this religious leader, anti-smuts thing, and she's dancing like she's in, she's stealing from Michael Jackson videos, Pat Benatar videos. She's bumping and grinding like, they're outtakes from Chicago. It's awful.
I think I, at some point during the film, got fed up with the whole shtick of the way they just like threw alcohol around in this movie. Like everything's about throwing back drinks and crushing beer cans and tossing bottles this way, and it's about how alcohol plays into the experience of rock and roll. You know,
Rock. I did. I liked Cruise, and I really enjoyed Alec Baldwin and Russell Brand as the club owner
that was
and his
you know,
sidekick.
the movie. I don't know. I think I'd give it 2 stars out of.
I think I gave it 2. I can't remember. It's it's okay, but like I wouldn't see it again, but I'll get it on DVD.
I wish Sean was here to explain his 0-star rating.
Sean hated it, but I think it's just that Night Ranger means a lot to him on
Really?
a personal level.
Or Journey. Man, I loved those Journey songs, when they came out. But this movie seems like their idea of rock is power ballads.
Yeah,
And it's really about that. Like, I know that they wear Led Zeppelin, and they mention the Rolling Stones.
But they
and
never
their,
play those
their whole dream idea of what rock is. But
Yeah.
it isn't. These are fucking power ballads.
yeah.
You
Well,
know?
it's hair metal. It's 80s hair metal. That's all they had. Every rose does have its thorn.
Yeah.
Okay, I get it. The thing as far as quality of performance too is like they've got all these white people singing these rock songs, and then Mary J. Blige comes out, and the difference in quality of vocal performance is stunning. When she sings, it's like, wow, someone's really belting it out. And then she keeps appearing through the rest of the film as background singers to everybody. Like, oh, we got a legitimate voice. Put her in everything. Even though she runs like a strip club where Barbie goes to get a job when her boyfriend dumps her. And it's the most generic. She's supposed to be, this is a seedy strip club. This is how low she's fallen. And she's basically wearing a swimsuit and, holds onto the pole like she's afraid. Like, this is the worst strip club ever. This is no Showgirls or Showgirls 2.
Small
I
town
would
girls
just-
living in lonely worlds don't make good strip.
That's true.
This is going to be an audience that, will love it. Sarah really wanted to see this, and I'm sure she'd love it. And
I'm sure, like I said, it's
tapping your feet to the songs,
I didn't do that, but I
did.
said, I didn't like the music, so that's fine. But some of it was inventive, some was fun. Paul Giamatti looked like he was having a fucking blast, being a dick, and I got to admire that. Even though I don't think it's much of a role, I think it was, the way he did it was fucking hilarious.
Towards the end there, when they were having, I guess, sort of a song battle, the guy Kevin Cronin from REO Speedwagon appears.
All the old rockers are in the background.
Oh,
It's
God.
like, really? Is this part of your? You get credit for this?
It just reminded me of the fact that, they used to be a band. Power ballad changed everything.
Changed popular music for a while.
I became disappointed. I loved REO Speedwagon. Kevin Cronin went to my high school. We had the same guidance
you are the
counselor.
First person I've ever hear say that.
Up until oh God, I don't.
dropped?
No, I mean, I loved the original REO Speedwagon. I loved Cantuna Fish, but when they got into their '80s power ballads, that was just fucking disappointing. Disappointing.
Wow.
Big change.
You look so hurt.
I am hurt.
What was that big hit, REO Speedwagon?
That like heard it from a friend song.
Who? Heard it from a friend.
Yeah.
Who?
Oh,
Heard
yeah.
it from another. You've been messing around. Hound.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
It was a really sad time in music.
Oh, Keep on Loving You. That was fucking travesty. I hated it, but I'm trying to remember the name of the song. What was the one that begins with like the air raid siren?
Steve, I'm not going to be able to help you pick out an REO Speedwagon song. It's just not going to happen.
Oh, Riding the Storm Out. That was mid 70s.
I think you're going to have a blast posting music to this episode.
Yeah.
REO Speedwagon. Wow.
Stacey Jacks, man. I just kept thinking that's a breakfast cereal.
I'm having Stacey Jacks this
2
morning.
scoops of Stacey Jacks.
This would have been a lot more fun if it was an R-rated musical. Do they have such a thing?
Have there been any R-rated musicals? Was
Good
Chicago
question.
PG-13 or R?
Oh, yeah.
That was PG-13.
Yeah.
Has there ever been an R-rated musical? How about an X-rated musical? I'm sure there's been
9
one of
was
those.
PG-13, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I don't think there has been.
But there was a movie called The X-Rated Musical with Ron Howard.
Oh, wait.
and
Wasn't
the chick from,
Repo the Genetic Opera, I guess.
that
Right,
must have been
right.
R.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that
Or
That's awesome.
Isn't there's one on Broadway, the Trey Parker, Matt Stone guy?
Oh yeah,
Book of
well,
Mormon?
that's-
Oh, if that
ever gets
a
made
film.
into a movie, yeah.
Have we run the course on Rock of Ages?
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, it's a beautiful looking.
I didn't see
flick,
it and
but
feel like I have. I feel like if I, were to
You can
listen
buy
to the
this-
soundtrack, which I'm not going to.
No, and that's the other thing. They've got
I would
all
see the
this,
movie.
these power ballads, whatever this lineup of music, but they consist on mashing them together. So like someone will be singing one song, and then they'll cut to another guy singing
Oh,
another
they're
song.
mashups.
The mashups are
I
horrible.
hate mashups. Oh,
They-
I'm not
They
seeing
make
this
no
movie.
sense.
Song
I'm not
battle.
seeing this movie.
None of these songs really, again, in a musical, the song should forward the story somehow, not just like someone hit play on your boombox,
I did kind of like the
That's
fact
all I
that
am.
it took place at Tower Records.
which is no longer there.
Yeah, they're still in business, but not in America. The Russell Brand Alec Baldwin duo was kind of surprising. That came.
Yeah. And I don't like Russell Brand. I think he's a dick, but I liked him in this movie, although I still really couldn't understand what he was saying.
Because he represents a certain something about rock and roll, I guess.
Yeah, we're done here. Oh, wait, are we going to talk about Brave?
Yeah, let's talk about Brave.
What's the embargo? We're going to say, fuck it, come
July
get me, Disney.
22nd and
Wait, when's it open?
next week.
Next week.
Oh.
We got time. This to me was like an ABC after school special about how not to disobey your mother.
And over to Greg.
No,
So planned.
You didn't think it was
I
that good?
I completely disagree with that. I know I liked it quite a bit.
Yeah.
I think it's definitely after Cars 2. It's it's a big improvement. It's not that great streak they had with Wall-E and Toy Story 3 and Up, where they had this real like emotional growth, and then they went back down to an elementary level with Cars 2.
Yeah.
But Brave I really like because, I mean, it's going to be a hard review, at least for me to write, because I don't want to reveal too much. Because the trailer only shows pretty much the first 15 minutes or so of the movie. She's competing in archery competitions. Her mom wants to give her away her hand in marriage. She competes for her own hand.
Predictable,
Gets bullseyes,
predictable.
But after that, the movie goes in a completely different direction that isn't shown in the trailer. And for me, it really worked for me. And I like, it's kind of this fantasy-driven plot that I really liked because I know Andrew Stanton and all those people have a lot of strong influences from Hayao Miyazaki and all his films, and I really think that this is the closest thing they've made that resembles a Miyazaki.
But it's like Disney. You have a witch. You have
It's their
like
most
Cinderella.
Disney-
It's like
it's the most
she's going to do
Disney
something she's
Pixar
not
film,
going
if that makes sense.
against her mother's wishes because she wants things her way, which ultimately she gets exactly what she wants. And then it's a
fairy-
fable,
it's
so
a
there's going to be a
fairy tale
transformation, but there's nothing surprising about it.
It has more in common with I guess like Disney's Tangled than it does a Pixar film. It was
Right.
very Tangled.
I
to
mean,
me,
the
at least.
movie, as far as other Pixar films, looking at it in that context,
within that realm,
it's not
disappointing,
next,
but as,
it's not
as
next
a
level.
standalone film, I liked it.
Yeah.
I thought it
you know
was
what?
fun and it was consistently entertaining.
I'll
and
grant
it
you this,
looked
Greg.
Beautiful.
I mean, I did not like it. It's an okay film. I enjoyed it. It's just not next level. It's not on the level of their other films.
Well, I mean, you got to look at it. I mean, yes, it is Pixar, but yes, they're new. It's not it's not someone who's been established in the Pixar film. It's
And
not
it's
Stan,
so-
it's not Bird. It's not anyone else.
And it's not in need of voiceover, which we get.
I didn't know
Useless
what was going to
voiceover.
happen
Yeah.
with, but like you said, because I only saw the trailer like once or twice, and I didn't know what the plot twist would be. And when that happened, it moved to a whole different level for me. That was fine.
It's a fun little fantasy fable, and I really it's simple. It's
Yeah.
a simple Pixar film. but
I
it
would actually
works.
describe it that way. It's not a big Pixar film. It's a simple fable.
That's fine. Yeah, and
It's
I
a-
like
yeah,
and it's
exactly,
fine.
but it works really well.
I
good blend
don't
of
know if
comedy
I
and
would say
action.
that.
Exactly. I thought it was extremely funny.
It was
I laughed a lot.
it was
Billy
entirely
Connolly as the
predictable.
dad.
Yeah,
I mean,
they got
what's
three little triplets.
I mean, didn't you think that weren't there going to it had such a dark tone towards the end. It just seemed completely disinteresting.
I'm not
You know,
worried about.
So what?
I think the movie's familiar. I didn't find it predictable. The story's familiar,
That's a good way of putting
but
it.
it's not. I didn't find it predictable, and I didn't sit there with time in my head trying to predict what would happen next because I was just following it. I was happy with the ride.
It was familiar, but I was very surprised and consistently throughout.
Now here's
Wow.
is it something
This
for
was
children?
so
Yeah.
Because the little
old
kid
hat to
behind me freaked the fuck out.
Yeah, there was
He
some
lost
kid
his
2
shit
rolls
big
back.
time.
There was
Just
someone
screaming
crying in
shit.
my screening. I saw
Yeah.
it too. I wouldn't say young children. There is some scary elements. I think
Right.
they do kind of. I think they say that
The last-
scary elements or
Yeah.
thematic elements.
The
or
last
something.
20 minutes of the movie,
It's a little
you know,
dark
Because
but,
all parents are going
it
to see
works.
is what's on the trailer. Like, oh, it's another princess movie. And then,
but I feel like
there's
all
some-
all of Pixar's movies have had those kind of moments.
Right,
That are
right.
adult or are deep or are have something more to say than
Right.
what a kid would understand.
but I don't think it wasn't just
Toy
it
Story
wasn't-
3 has toys about to face their death.
Right.
Yeah.
But and kids are only sensitive to that because the music changes and they can feel something. If they don't understand there's death coming, they get that dramatic sense. But in this, there's and that's when the kid freaked out.
Yeah.
It's in 3D and it's big ass,
I will
very
say
angry,
I saw
very
it.
loud
Some-
attack. What were you saying about 3D?
I just want to know how I saw it in 2D. And
Uh-huh.
it looked great. You know, and
3D looked fine to me.
Yeah.
I didn't see. I don't think there was.
I
any
think it
need
usually
for
works
it.
for animated films, but
Yeah.
I did see it in 2D and it looked. Were the colors good? And-
Yeah, but I'm not. See, when
Yeah.
you guys come out and complain about a screen, I'm like, really? What? Huh? It looked fine to me. I don't have that smart kind of stuff. I'm not that.
But needless to say, the movie looks great. They had some great landscape
Yeah.
shots, and I feel like the
that's
the depth would
that's
kinda be
what's great
added
about
in
it. I think
3D.
I actually wish there was more. But what about? But do we really have to see all this, like, hurt rock climbing the side of the castle?
Sure, because because that shows she's a warrior heritage.
She's
No
bored.
one else is.
What else is she gonna do?
I mean, didn't you
Plus-
know that when they had the archery competition that she was going to do exactly what Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, does?
Again,
anything-
not predictable. I didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So she splits the arrow. It's kind of a cliche. I get it, but it didn't bother me. It just didn't pull me out of the story. I was not bothered by it at all.
I don't think I was bothered by the film. I think I want to say I just wasn't impressed on the level of like other Pixar films.
Oh, that's fine.
I wasn't either, but looking at it as a standalone film,
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. I thought it was delightful and very entertaining and pretty
I
pretty
don't
funny.
know how fair it is to compare every Pixar with every Pixar.
You can't do that.
Well, it's sort of a point of reference,
It's-
I mean, the company
It is, but
because
it's not
they're
this-
scrutinized in such a great way that no matter what they do, they're going to be compared to their prior films. And,
Like, I'll
and there's,
compare a
I think
Brad
that
Bird
I
film
think
in
that
The
they
Big
could have
Ride
they
to a
could have
Brad
done
Bird.
better. They could have done better with this.
They could have, and this was one that this was one that they had a lot of trouble, with the writers and the directors and all that stuff, and you can kind of sense it, but it still works.
But what about if it's like a writer, instead of a novel, they're just going to do a short story? Everything doesn't have to be the world's greatest, big novel. It can
No,
be a
it's
short
true.
story.
Everything doesn't have to be the world's greatest
you
film.
know?
I
And
was
this is a fine film.
I'll get
It's
YouTube,
just so very
but I-
middle range to me.
What did you guys think of the short at the beginning?
Oh, I loved
Actually, I really liked the short.
La Luna.
La
The,
Luna.
the short that elevates it to art. A short like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That short actually got like claps from the audience
Yeah.
when I saw it.
Yeah.
Like a loud applause. I thought it was one of their best shorts in some time. I really like the one they had with the day and night and the clouds.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
But I think this one was just so imaginative and creative, and like it had that final shot where you're like, "Oh, that's great."
That
Yeah.
was, in its way, true beauty. I mean,
yeah,
it's
just
a beautiful
dazzling.
satisfying
short
as anything, and it looked great in 3D.
And it'll
Yeah.
play well in
I
any
could
country.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
because it's
It's Italian. It was an Italian film.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Well, they were kind
Italian
of just
director,
babbling,
Italian. Yeah, but I mean, the director's Italian.
Oh,
a lot
yeah.
of the creative people were Italian. I don't know if it was something that Pixar hired them to do, or yeah. And it was a totally different tone than
Yeah.
what follows, which was fine.
Yeah.
You kind of look forward to the Pixar short.
I love the little shorts that come before
Yeah.
the Pixar films.
So-
I really, really like that one.
oh, and there was a scene that takes place after the credits in Brave.
Oh yeah, it's a fun little extra gag.
Yeah, again, there's a movie I would see again. I'm a sucker for animated movies.
I did kind of watch this thinking, I wonder if there were any Pixar Easter eggs in it. And I'm sure there are somewhere.
I would watch the
I bet in
DVD
that-
extra, just how they animated that red hair.
That is
Quite-
amazing.
That is amazing.
That is
what
amazing.
Pixar
It's like every
does.
little strand
Yeah.
has detail, and it's
That is like to be able to do that in
they've never
computer
really done a
animation. That
film
is
besides from like The Incredibles, with
Quite
like,
amazing.
all people and people this much hair, I guess.
well. You remember Sully's hair in
Well, I was going to say that was
Monsters Inc.
Monsters
That
Inc.
was
like the
quite
high
amazing at the
watermark
time.
of hair animation at the time.
But
when
I
it
think
was
this girl's
Sully.
ginger flowing like curliness is like ridiculously animated. Like,
Yeah.
Is that Pixar showing off or what?
No, well, I'm sure it's just
Picture
the
showing what
technology.
they're
There are
good at,
proprietary
amazing at it.
software for,
Yeah, for
creating
hair.
such great hair.
Get the hair program up now.
This is a hair-themed episode.
It was
They watched that Chris
Hair
Rock-
bands.
rock documentary. They knew how to animate
hair.
hair better now.
It was an amazing. That was his thing. It was such a even on the close up, it's amazing and all that. But even on the long shots, there'd be this red dot of hair going like riding a horse and stuff, and
Yeah.
it was always perfectly animated.
Oh, and when it commands the screen,
Yeah, it
I mean,
takes over.
you're like, wow, man, that is some amazing animation.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
is.
And that's the-
Pixar never fails in that department. Cars 2 look great.
Yeah, and
just
you know,
didn't like it.
the thing with the hair shot, that's the money shot, but everything around it looks equally good too.
Yeah.
You know, you never like when I see The Lion King, it always pisses me off because it looks like, okay, here's the big stampede. Let's draw a zebra and then photocopy 100 zebras and make them all run because they all look the same. Every face in the crowd for this
Looks
looks
different.
different. You know, every
Looks like they casted animated extras.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like, that's detail. And that's what Pixar's all about. That's why, they really take that effort and detail into their films. They could have taken a little more time with the story for this one, but it still worked for me. And I did really like it.
I want to give a shout out to Billy Connolly as a dad. I just love him.
He's pretty great.
So all the acting I think in this was good. Although Emma Thompson with the Scottish accent,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
didn't
it's
really
it's an
recognize
okay
any
film.
voice
It's just
until the credits.
just so average to me.
I feel like average for Pixar is still really, really good.
Well, that's a
Yeah.
good point. Average for Pixar is something else. And I would have not. I mean, you got to see this movie in the sense that it's just incredible animation.
Yeah,
And I love the castle and stuff. I love all that. The way they bring that to life.
the little boys,
The kids.
Oh, they're hilarious.
Yeah.
and
Well, if I had to pick a favorite scene, it would have been the scene in the dining hall where in and she was giving
Yeah, it
a
was
speech
great.
about how to, do what her mom
They
would
had a lot of
actually
visual
like her to do.
comedy
You know.
and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And
It was,
it's fun.
And
I
it's
had a
got-
lot of fun with
it's
it.
got heart too. I mean, that
Yeah.
speech
All
the
Pixar
girl's
movies
given,
do.
is just a really effective, and then falling for it, and that's the moment they bond.
The idea of animating so femininely,
Well,
doing such feminine things was
the
very
Queen's
funny.
personality coming through, and then
Yeah.
when salmon and goes native.
Yeah.
Right.
Pretty cool.
I'll bleep some of that out.
Yeah, you should cut that out. I'm not going to reveal anything about
Yeah.
I feel like it was such a nice surprise. I was like, whoa, where's this movie going?
And just when the little boys, you can have anything you want,
I'll bleep it.
and they're looking around the kitchen and they spot the pie. Like, oh,
that was a great little
Yeah.
gag. And they don't come back until later. And it was like,
no, but there's that.
kind of forget
there's
about it.
always-
And then you're like, there they
There's that
are.
sense of anticipation.
Are we
They've
keeping
gotta
this
come
part in the
back soon.
podcast? Or is this?
We didn't spoil
Okay.
it.
Just
You
beep,
did.
bleep up.
Yeah.
It'd be like Beatrice and Kill Bill. Just like bleep it out.
Yeah. Disney, I think, has themselves a marketing challenge here, but I think as much as they've screened this before the release date, they're not shy about it. They're proud of it.
There were
You
two
know?
commercials for the fucking movie before the movie started. Well, commercial for the video games, and a commercial for the Take the Brave Tour of Scotland with Disney. So there were two
Oh, that's
commercials
right.
for them. to
Pixar.
film.
They make a
Yeah,
ton.
I don't think marketing's a problem here, and I think
It's not. It's
I
a
think
new
it's gonna-
Pixar film.
Yeah, I think it's going
It'll
to
be.
tap.
I'm curious to see how well
It's an
this will
event for
do
Pixar film
comparatively.
Fans.
You know?
I'm sure it's going to make.
Yeah.
I think it's going to do very well. It's
Great
summertime.
family
it's
film.
Yeah, it's a family film. You're not going to bring the family to Rock of Ages. You're not going to bring.
I'm not going to bring the family to this one. I'm not going to bring the family to this one.
Really? Why not? Come on, bring the kids.
Sarah really loved it.
I think it's great. I think it's a lot of fun. So
I think we're good.
we are.
You can listen to all of our episodes online. We're at post-movie.net. That's sometimes you can go there and download an episode and listen to us argue.
Not like this episode.
And I think like the last time we reviewed an Adam Sandler flick, that was an argument. Jack and Jill. I was fucking pissed.
Let's if you really want to go back into the archives, people, look for the Grown Ups
Oh yeah,
episode.
yeah.
And stay tuned for the Grown Up 2 episode, which I'm sure will be a nice, calm
Or
discussion.
Or Simple Depression. That would have been the Star Wars Phantom Menace episode.
Yeah.
You can follow us on Facebook. And you can also subscribe to the Post Movie Podcast on iTunes, which would be really cool. And it would also be even super cooler if you could leave a review.
I'd love the
That'd be great.
attention.
And there's also a donate button.
Yes, there is.
And that would be super coolest
You can be a pal
could help
that
us out.
pays.
yeah.
on that one.
We've got a loony Canadian dollar. So, that's it so far. Thanks, Barrett.
Thanks, Greg. Thanks
Thanks.
for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Where can people go to read your stuff again?
GregVellante.com.
Do.
VELLANTE.
2 G's, GREGG.
GREG.
GGG.
Until next time. I'm Steve Head.
I'm John Black.
So long, everybody.